Hey everyone, Stephen Lowisz here with GTM Secrets. Everything go to market, sales, marketing, demand gen, rev ops, marketing ops, you name it. Had people from all over. Today I have Derek Boggs with us. Now, we were just nerding out on some of his background. He's former InsideSales.com, which is now Zant, basically outreach and sales loft competitor. Now he's in physical security, I guess you could say, Derek.
Yep, nailed it.
Perfect. But, share a little bit of background on yourself. I don't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me, Stephen. Excited to be here. My background, 10 years of marketing at this point. Started off doing some event support, business development as early as college. Not as early as you, Stephen, when you were maybe before your driver's license in the B2B SaaS world. But got my hands dirty, really delighting attendees and driving not only the attendees to shows, but driving vendors. Got a great opportunity. Really small company where it was a shop of one marketer, myself. Got my hands dirty and was able to sell the CEO on getting HubSpot as a marketing automation platform. Turned me into multiple people, right? That background, kind of self-teaching myself there. Got an opportunity at InsideSales, now Zant. We were just speaking about it. Like the company was phenomenal. Maybe didn't innovate like it could have. And so I found myself as I had mentors and bosses leave that really gave me great lessons and foundations. I got my hands on a lot of things I probably should have had at a young age and really built out not just the demand gen side, but more aspects of marketing. Went to a company, again, based here in Utah, Avanti, but it's a company that provides cybersecurity software and services global. So I was able to really take this go-to-market strategy within a North American market and expand it to literally every region in the world. Great opportunity there, learned a ton, very built out marketing team, several hundred people. And so really learned what a mature, scalable team looks like and took a great opportunity, good bet on myself. It happened right at COVID, moved over to a company, again, cybersecurity, working with a CMO. The company's name is Agile, working with the CMO and really building out from scratch a marketing and business development org. And then that's when I stumbled into this phenomenal opportunity with LBT about 4 years ago. And we'll dive into it, but talk about a phenomenal product, a great market fit with that product. Timing couldn't be any better. And the team here is phenomenal.
You drank the Kool-Aid, man. Average tenure these days is like 18 months, 4 years.
I'm telling you, man, I'll speak to that some more if you want. It's all about investing in your employees. We all have ownership here in the company and equity. So it's been an awesome, wild ride. When I started, we were somewhere around 15 million in ARR, just spread across mainly like 8 key customers. And there was only one marketer at the time. I came in and really built out this program and just not do anything special. I could scream from the rooftop and drive demand of this product. It's that needed. But we really built out a modern revenue marketing org, and we're north of 250 million right now in ARR after 4 years. It's been a wild ride.
You're doing something right. That's awesome. So you went from, and by the way, going back to your comment about maybe Zant didn't innovate as much as they could have. I don't think Outreach and Sales Loft have either anymore. Apollo and some of the others are eating their lunch.
Yeah.
Or at least headed in that direction. So just do with that as you will. But I was in the RevOps space, so I love sales and MarTech. I can nerd out on any of it all day.
Yep,
but here's what I find interesting. So you went from selling salespeople or marketing to salespeople to cybersecurity, which is tough. I have a lot of cybersecurity clients. And now you're selling into, we were talking a little bit before, more like safety, maybe property management, construction, etc.
Yep.
Those are wildly different personas. And I can't imagine that somebody in safety at a big corporation or government is going to take very kindly to a cold pitch, nor are they going to kick around on LinkedIn like salespeople and marketers. So my first question is, how the hell do you reach them?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Honestly, it's one where we've really focused on delighting and understanding our customer. You got to think about it. We're fortunate enough to be a part of their mission to truly make the world safer and more secure. That's what these professionals have to focus on every day. And so we empathize with that, and we come in and we don't try and speak at them, but we listen and we learn. cold calling is actually a great tactic, right? But you just have to tweak your approach. You have to earn the trust first. Building credibility and trust, it takes not just selling them on a product, but letting them test the product out, right? Letting them do a pilot, showing them what their peers are doing as well, and building those case studies and those research reports to validate it before they put their job on the line, and not just their job, but human lives, millions of dollars of assets. It's a tough job where these folks, they're on call 24/7 because when shit hits the fan, it's them that gets the phone call. And so it's obviously, you mentioned like transitioning from selling to sellers, selling to cyber, like selling to physical security, different audiences. But this group of professionals has been phenomenal to work with, get in front of, but just earn their trust. And so we do a lot of trade shows, right? We build face-to-face rapport with our trade shows. We do a ton of digital advertising. And so like, just like these traditional methods of let's show them the product, let them do a little bit of research and education of what the product can do, because it is a new category of mobile security units. Let them educate themselves, see the use cases. We articulate those use cases with case studies. We have a phenomenal offer to where like, hey, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. If you want it, let's test it out for 30 days. Let's see if it solves your problems. So having an organization that has really bought into that, it helps a marketer, it helps a seller, right? Because we're not selling, we're just tailoring the solution for them in real time on their site and being a partner.
I'm curious, are you sending them hardware, or are they only trialing your software?
No, you got it, man. We're sending them a very expensive piece of hardware, and we're putting it in the roughest environments, because that's what we ask. We're like,
right.
You're this big enterprise company. You have hundreds of problems across your ecosystem of keeping employees safe, keeping assets secure, needing situational awareness into real-time crime areas. So we say, give us your worst place and let's talk about it. What are you dealing with it? Let's bring in our consultants that are inside the company, who they were in your shoes for a decade as a asset protection or facilities expert or what have you. Let's look at your security posture, and here's where we can help. And it's a partnership. That's what this space is looking for. We hear all the time, and this is thankfully our founders who bootstrapped the company for around 15 to 16 years before they brought in people like myself that could really scale emotion within our expertise. They built a trusted brand of, we're not selling you, we just want to help you. Like, we truly just want to partner with you. And so again, like we've grown a ton in 4 years. It's been phenomenal, but I truly tip my hat to everybody that came before me and built this product and built this reputation that we've just been able to scale.
So I am curious. I'll go back to the statement. I can't imagine these people are kicking around on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you do a lot of digital ads. In fact, I pulled a SEMrush report on you guys. You got 25,000 in organic. You have another 15,000 or so from Google search. Is Google search predominantly where you're focused?
Yeah. And I think I don't want to roast SEMrush at all, but we're well north of those numbers these days. So Google search, right, is huge for us. We are a very competitive product to traditional security measures. So we make sure when people are looking for those traditional security methods, we populate this new innovative category, right? And we really tell a good story very quickly, and we see a ton of high intent demand that we capture through search.
So that
Meta, LinkedIn, also great categories for us. And I think the physical security space kind of has that stereotype, which is a little bit true, but definitely phasing out of like, these are professionals that used to be the security guard that got a promotion, right? There is now programs at universities across the United States that focus on asset protection, loss prevention, and some of these careers that folks scale through for their career. So there's still a lot of that. Like, I was a security guard and now I'm the head of this retail enterprise company that's a household name and owning their loss prevention. But there is a new changing of the guard that is taking place with a very innovative buyer and an informed buyer.
So you opened up a rabbit hole I want to go down in a second, but first, A lot of people don't believe in B2B on Meta. I think it's phenomenal for retargeting. Are you
Yep.
predominantly doing retargeting? Are you doing custom audiences? Like, how do you actually set up your Meta campaigns?
Yeah, so we've definitely leaned in over the years. We were high volume. We drove a ton of demand, ton of customers, very early on through Meta, through LinkedIn, through Google. But what we were capturing was a lot of small business, right? So it wasn't even a security professional. It was Bob's Tires, who was like, "Hey, I have cars on my lot that get broken into and the scrap's gone." Well, great. You're a great customer for us. We have a great product. Your problems go away. So we were driving around 80% of the business that we were driving was these, what we call commercial SMB. So the other half of the other portion of that 20% was the enterprise customers. But we were able to shift that as we said, all right, let's really refine who our ICP is. Let's go and do the research. Let's go do the research twice, right? The Carpenter methodology. Let's measure twice before we cut.
Yeah.
And so we've really leaned in on that. And over the last 2 years, we've been able to shift that to where we're right around 60% of what comes from marketing and all of our channels is that upmarket business. On Meta, it is a great opportunity for us based off of matched audiences, based off of retargeting. We're able to drive a lower cost per click, cost per site visit, cost per lead, depending on where these folks are at in the funnel. So Meta is great. And Meta's network is great, right? But I do have to point towards the fact that we have a very strong ICP, but even outside of our ICP, this small business, they buy, and we have a phenomenal business model that really paints a good light for the marketing spend, even when we're driving small business.
So here's the rabbit hole I want to go down because I'm being selfish here. This is 100%. This is 100% related to our issue at Identity Matrix. No one knows what we do. Our category is very, very small. It's brand new, right? De-anonymizing traffic. And this isn't meant to be a pitch, but I want to relate it to you. Very few know that you can de-anonymize traffic at person level analytics, etc. But if you're looking up lead gen, if you're looking up ABM, if you're looking up some of those tangential things, then sure, we could pop up. But when you're on Google, your intent is to look for one thing and one thing only, and that's all you care about, right? So when you said, okay, they're looking up traditional security things, then you pop up with some innovative ideas. How do you do that? And this is a large question, but how do you do that in a way where they still feel like their intention is being fulfilled? I'm looking for X, but oh shit, this is actually way cooler. How do you transition their mindset?
Yeah, we provide that side-by-side comparison. So I'll give you one example. You're in LA and you're looking for a unarmed guard. So you search unarmed guards in LA. Costs for unarmed guards in LA. One of these long tail keywords. Guess what? Like, we are a great augmentation or a replacement of a guard. And so we either make guards that much more effective and you don't need as many guards, because guess what? We don't fall asleep on the job. We don't play Candy Crush on the job. We actually can't be on the inside scoop of this theft on your job as well, which happens a lot. We just do the job you hired us to do. And so we're very competitive. And so we're able to show, all right, you're searching for this in your area, in this market. We want to show you that there's an augmentation or a replacement of what you think is the right solution. Popping that up, being very competitive on bidding, right? Because this is somebody who is looking to solve this problem with something that we can actually come in and solve at a better cost and at a more efficient way. And so we present those things just head on. We take them to a great landing page, which again articulates that side-by-side comparison. And then we align with the business leaders internally, and we say, hey, are you okay if we pitch a pilot, pitch a test? Like, nobody's going to say no to, you're going to send one of these things to my site for free for 30 days. Like, sure. Like, are you dumb? Like, you're willing to do that, right? And we do that all day, every day. And the results just speak for themselves after that point. The job that needs to get done is done. We're able to provide that security, that safety, that situational awareness, but we're also able to do it for a much better economical price than what they would have had to do otherwise.
So do you kind of look at it We have competitor pages, us versus, I won't name drop, but us versus XYZ, right? And we kick all of our competitors' ass. People just don't know about us. So we will give a side-by-side chart comparison, and run ads against their own names, right? Everyone does it. Are you kind of doing the same thing, but instead of naming a competitor, you're naming that original solution they were going for? And then are you literally giving them a side-by-side chart of like, here's why security guards, you may need them, but you don't need as many?
Yeah, like that. And this is a small portion, honestly, of our search that we bid on, right? But definitely, like, we're able to be very competitive. We do PMAX campaigns on search, as an example, that are looking at site traffic to our competitors, our true like mobile security unit competitors. So if anybody does happen to stumble onto one of our smaller competitors' sites, they're now going to start seeing us on YouTube, right? Yeah. And they're going to start seeing us across their online experience. So being competitive in that nature too. But thankfully, we get a lot of branded search. We get a lot of traditional, like, hey, I am looking for parking lot security, right? I am looking for job site security, construction sites. Like, we have a lot of categories and a very diverse industry mix of customers that we're able to mine. Hey, what is it that you're looking for? What would you be searching? And we kind of reverse engineer that, and we stumble into some new key areas there. And
So-
obviously search, like, we view it as like, if somebody is searching for one of these terms, we are willing to pay top dollar to capture that high intent.
When it comes to organic, it's what I'm hearing from you is that a lot of it is just really long tail keywords that you've built out some valuable content for. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah. And the organic play, right? When I joined LVT, the idea of marketing was the guy that printed t-shirts, and our website was compromised. Like, I joined, and during my interview process, I was going to, at the time, it was liveviewtech.com. It was redirecting me to a CNBC article on how to lose 40 pounds in 50 days. Like, it was, we were starting from nothing, bro. Nothing. So it was tremendous opportunity, right? So immediately hired a content marketer, and it was volume. Like, we were like, we don't have a pulse. We don't have a digital presence. What we had in certain verticals and industries is we had the customers you want, right? So we were still growing, and we had customers in retail. So I like to look at our product as like, we are a mobile security billboard. You pop one of these things up, like, you were just on our site. I don't know where you live, Stephen, but you're going to start seeing these at all of your big box retail stores that you go to now. And you're going to be like, that's that LVT that I just had an interview with. You just start to see them everywhere. So for security professionals, or for anybody that is dealing with an issue, the more units we get out in the wild, the more billboards we have. And so we've had a great organic presence that we just had to make sure we had a good funnel and a good conversion rate optimized website. And then we started this pulse 4 years ago with SEO that is really paying off. Like, we've been able to own categories. I'll give you an example. Like, this is something that is mainstream news right now. If you think about what you hear about crime in mainstream news right now, it's organized retail crime, right? You'll hear it on the morning shows. You'll hear it on 60 Minutes. Even the average consumer is concerned about organized retail crime that is impacting these big box retailers, because in the end, who ends up paying for the theft? It's consumers. The cost of their goods go up. The places that they usually shop are not very safe anymore. There's really brazen criminals. Even worst case scenario is you have some of these big boxes that have to shut down their location because they're in an area that won't prosecute the crime, and they can't make a profit. So they shut down their location, and they create this desert where people can't go get the goods or the food that they need. So we've been very fortunate from the get-go of creating this category 4 years ago, riding towards where the market is going and doing a volume play early on. And then we've really brought in a lot of quality over the last 2-3 years and seeing tremendous returns from SEO. But I, again, have to point the finger back and give the credit to this product that's phenomenal and a great market fit, because every time we sell a unit, it's a billboard out in the wild for us that somebody that either needs that solution, sees it and says, oh, I need that. What's that logo? What's that URL? LVT.com. And the good news is criminals see it and they're like, I'm not messing with that place, right? It's a good overt billboard and deterrent.
I would not have suspected that there was built-in virality in what you're doing, but that makes perfect sense.
It's a I can't say the term right now. It's a guerrilla marketing approach, right? With these out in the
grassroots, by the way. I gotcha.
Man, I was struggling there. Thank you.
I'm on like my 5th coffee plus a Red Bull. Caffeine and nicotine. I run on both. So that makes sense. Now, are you guys doing AI content or is it all handwritten?
No, there's definitely like support on that, right? We've scaled from myself as the first marketer. Now we have a team of 60 plus, right? That includes brand, that includes field, events, that includes demand gen, product marketing, and business development. So like we have the resources. We have a great category and slew of contractors that we use for writing, and we keep them very focused in specific verticals or specific topics. And so we've really made sure like we're using expertise, we're using people that are very confident in their craft, but willing to test and be confidently uncertain, as I like to say. But AI, if you're not using AI, like you're just not being efficient, right? I can't remember the last time I started a marketing email from scratch versus like, here's some thoughts and some bullets, right? So the team has definitely adopted that same approach. And if they weren't, I would say, what are we doing? Like, I don't want to have to go hire 3 more of you. Like you can be more efficient all day, every day with using these tools out there.
To be honest, we take all these episodes and we turn them into blogs, right? But Jasper is writing them based on the transcripts. So I get it. When you say that you put out a lot of content, like how many articles a month, roughly?
Go to the blog right now. Weekly, we're probably putting up 3 to 5 blogs a week. So still very, very high volume, but very specific. And then what we've done is we've really taken the quality approach in a different angle. So we've built up this third-party brand. You can see LVT behind me. You have a third-party brand, this thought leadership brand, which is called Elevate. Has LVT right in the brand. It's branded the same way, but it lives on its own website, and we focus on quality there. And we actually do a print version of this as well, but every quarter we roll out a very thematic print catalog, but also all that content and follow-up webinars, polls, surveys, all done online. Launched that about 2 quarters ago, and that's where we look to amplify, right? We're not playing the SEO strategy game there. We're just interviewing customers. We're interviewing their customer's customer, and we're focused on just compelling content. And it's been really, really successful. And a fun thing about our space, like we kind of mentioned that we have a hybrid of the people that got into physical security because they just wanted to tackle somebody during work and cuff them, right? But we also have this innovative, like I went to school for this. And so a good hybrid of folks that still enjoy reading print, right? And having print sent to them and being able to grab a really rich piece of content at a trade show. So that's been really fun. So we're definitely ramping our SEO strategy consistently, but looking to really infuse quality and not necessarily like separate them, but also separate them. So we point people in the right direction when we're starting from scratch versus capturing their search.
Well, you're obviously doing a few things right based on your traffic increase. I think earlier you said that you went from like 15 to 50 million. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, 4 years ago, 15 million in ARR. Now as a company, we're up to 250 ARR growing.
Oh, I missed the 2 in that.
It's all right. It's all right.
Big freaking difference. So now you're a mid-market company. What are the biggest demand gen challenges that you face today?
Yeah, good question. I think we're really looking to diversify and start testing. I wouldn't say we're hitting ceilings in certain channels, right? But we are feeling resistance, right? And we're seeing more and more competition in certain channels that we just had free reign early on. And then you always have to be cognizant of like there was a recent Google update that really made us pivot and analyze our current strategy and adjust a few things. So anything can happen at any moment in time, right? We're not on TikTok, but TikTok could get banned, right? That could go through, and that could really impact a demand gen individual that's relying on that. So I look at my job now as really diversifying, and through that, making sure that we go solidify funds, but start testing out and identifying what's that next channel, right? Big area that we've done stuff in the past, but not at the scale that we're about to, is all things publications and associations and what I like to call, like, let's go borrow that audience that they've already built. They have a trusted audience that loves their content. Let's take some of our quality content and fuse it in there. Let's put display advertising up there. Let's do a webinar. Let's do a newsletter, and let's just start borrowing that content. And so we lean in a lot there, but then let's diversify our digital channels. So Reddit could be a great option for us, and let's mine our customers and see where they go, but also just test and see if we can't find that audience. And then lastly, we're looking at intent more than we've ever looked at in the past. So we've invested in Zoom info websites. We're looking at third-party data, first-party data, looking to, as people are starting to evaluate the category or looking for security solutions, let's infuse ourselves into that conversation in all these channels. And definitely when we see that first-party intent, it's like, all right, SDRs, let's launch the ABM sprint. Let's run. Like it's time to go. This account is now your priority. So a lot of that has shifted over the few years, but I'm just always looking to diversify and test, and definitely don't get comfortable with channels that were working yesterday, because you just never know what's going to happen.
So I hear you on diversifying. And have you guys run ads on Reddit yet, or no?
We have not. Nope. So it's uncharted territory for us.
I have never in my career run them, but we've been contemplating that on our end, because supposedly Reddit's pretty cheap, and who doesn't like complaining and whatnot on Reddit at some point, right?
Yep.
So I definitely see the value.
We'll see. We'll have to do the follow-up conversation here in a few months, and I'll give you some early report outs.
You bet. Last question. You mentioned intent. What are your favorite intent and ABM tools? You mentioned Zoom info.
Yeah. So Zoom info is really, as I look at ABM, we do high volume ABM, meaning we're matching audiences and ad platforms. We're making sure we're getting in front of our ICP and trying to drive them through our funnel. But when we really coordinate with sales on what we like to call an ABM sprint, we're going to really look into who's showing high intent, right? Who is like early stage pipeline that's kind of cooled off. Who is a customer that is a high expansion, high TAM customer that we should prioritize. So doing a lot of research. We use Zoom info a ton for that. And then today we're a sales loft shop. So obviously we're going to curate that list, get into sales loft. We've built out a 10-week cadence that we're going to run them through series of phone calls, email, LinkedIn touches. But I'm a big believer, especially in our space with physical security, direct mailing and gifting is not as saturated as, let's say, like sending to a marketer, right?
Yeah.
Who gets a package every week on their desk, and you're like, hey, like it needs to really stand out to break through the noise. It's already a saturated channels. We really get to know who our people are, what the account is, what perceived problems they're dealing with. We've been sending pillows to people through the mail. They're LVT custom pillows, because like we talked about at the beginning of the call, like we work with professionals that literally lose sleep every night over their job because they're always on call. So it's like, hey, we prime them with all this messaging around, you have the hardest job. I'm sure you lose sleep over it. We're leaving voicemails that have the same priming. 5 weeks into this campaign, they get this box on their desk, this beautiful branded box. They open it up, has an LVT pillow in there, all the messaging aligning to let's help you sleep better at night. And then we're following up very aggressively, right? And getting on call and a meeting with them. It's been very successful.
I think it depends on what you're sending them. So like G2, they sent me a note. They're sending me a gift tower for Christmas. Oracle invited me to...
What's a gift?
Like I think it's like the chocolates and popcorn on like a giant tower. I don't know how to describe it. And then Oracle just invited me today to a Red Wings event in January. I'll still take those, man. I'm not going to say no, but I hear you. Some of it is definitely oversaturated compared to, I would assume, the market that you're in.
Yeah, and we've done the sponsorship with the Utah Jazz, right? We didn't really dive into that today at all, but we are the jersey patch sponsor for the Utah Jazz. They're in our backyard. We work on that last year with them, and it's an interesting play for B2B. I didn't think it was something we should do at all when they first approached us, but as we start to learn more about the patch and how that's kind of the tip of the iceberg within the partnership, we've really been able to use that for business development. And we worked very hard to make sure, all right, this is a field play. We are going to take customers to every single game on the road. We're going to fly them out here for QBRs and take them to games here, really treat them to these VIP experiences that they couldn't buy. And it's just another great way to partner up and delight your customer. And so we've been able to have a strong 2x return, measurable return, outside of just all the brand exposure and awareness as well, and really building up our name. So that's another play along our ABM sprint, where we're always trying to delight customers and take them and their family or colleagues to the game.
I don't want to know what the cost of that was, but
yeah, you can look up some things. I don't think that the Jazz had disclosed it, but if you go look at what it costs to get on the Lakers jersey, it's a different market, so we're not there, but I'll give you an idea of where that number's at.
Can't imagine, but that's a pretty cool idea. I wouldn't have thought of that for B2B either. I would think of B2C brands like Manscaped and, some of those are coffee companies, right? Derek, this is awesome. Thank you for nerding out a little bit with me. Everyone says LinkedIn, but where's the best place for people to connect with you, man?
Yeah, I'm kind of a ghost on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I don't really find myself there. So, if try LinkedIn, I'll give my email out. Shoot me an email, derek.boggs@lvt.com. That's how you get in contact with me. I'm sure you could scrape it and find it on Zoom info too. So these days I don't mind giving it out. So feel free anytime. Shoot me an email. If you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'll get to you within 6 months. I promise. So that's probably the way.
You're one of the few marketers, but you probably waste a lot less time. That's awesome, Derek. Thank you so much again for coming on, man.
Thanks, Stephen.